Okay, I'm about to get geeky for a minute. The soil, this is where it's at. And I just need to share with you some of the science that I've learned, and hopefully you're going to fall in love with how important the soil is. Everything else is secondary to soil. It is the lifeblood. It's where all the technology, all the super highways of bacteria, it's where it's all going down. So I just want to take you into the world of soil for a minute. All right, so this soil, I think, is the lifeblood of the world, of life itself. And I'm such a fan of the story that humans were created from the micronutrients and bacteria and minerals in soil. I love that story. And today we know that soil is the most powerful force to absorb excess carbon in the world. But the problem is we aren't letting the land rest, and therefore free carbon increases, and we're over-tilling and raising crops, and I got all these issues. So let me just share with you a little more about the magic below the surface. So there's this thing called mycorrhizal fungi. That's where it's at. These bacteria or technology in the soil, they do some amazing things. They create this environment that allows for better access to water, and it's literally like the spark in the soil. There's a lot of talk about microbiomes. Well, there's a lot of bacteria in the soil. Plants with a good fungal relationship. Wow, I never thought I'd say that. But plants with the fungus among us. Okay, I'll stop. But plants with this presence of such awesome fungi, they can photosynthesize at a faster rate and overall be a lot healthier. These mycorrhizal, man, I messed it up again. These fungi, they're critical to nearly every plant's survival. Another particular thing about these fungi, they're fungis. Oh, I told you I'd stop. They're so important in the way that a plant accesses the macronutrient of nitrogen. Nitrogen, this is the key nutrient needed in order for a plant to survive and thrive, because it makes up these nitrates, which are the major source of nitrogen for the formation of DNA, RNA, the amino acids that make up the proteins in a plant. And that's key, because the question, or at least I've heard it a bajillion times, where do you get your protein if you eat a plant-based diet? Well, here's the thing. We often eat grass eaters, plant-based, plant-rich diet dudes and dudettes. We say we get it from the same source as the elephant and the horse and the gorilla. But if our soil isn't healthy, no, we don't. If your soil isn't healthy, then it isn't likely delivering that optimal amount of protein that it should be through the plants. Just because something's growing out of the ground doesn't mean it actually has nutrients. There's plenty of studies now that show the relationship between fungi and plants. It can be negatively affected by so many of the different things us Homo sapiens do and how we commonly interact with the soil. One of the most common being herbicides. Well, we don't like weeds. We don't want to pull weeds because, man, that feels so unproductive. So we often spray them, find the shortcut. But when these toxic chemicals are frequently used to kill weeds, here's the dirty secret. They're killing the bacteria in the soil. And so the same is with our microbiome. The gut bacteria, it's under attack. Well, the good bacteria in the soil is under attack. So show some love to your soil. It will take care of you in return. And a lesson I learned along the way about this idea of should we spray, should we not, is you often think, well, like an avocado. What does it matter spraying an avocado tree? Well, the issue is it gets into the soil. And so that avocado won't have the nutrients because it'll be locked up because all the bacteria won't be able to deliver those nutrients properly into the plant. So even if something, and I've fallen into this, there's a peel. I peel it off. What do I care if something's sprayed? If you think about it, well, it's not so much of what's being sprayed onto a plant, it's what's getting onto the ground that then messes with the technology in the soil. So love the soil, nourish the soil.